No, but seriously.
Welcome back to No, but seriously.
The podcast where we keep it honest, keep it real, but not too serious.
I'm Jamika.
And I'm Anna.
And so today we are going to be talking about health, which will probably be a frequent topic on this podcast, just because of, I know I have a lot of stuff personally going on with health, but it's something that we've talked about a lot.
I was like, I probably do too. I just don't go to the doctor as often.
Which is another thing. So, yeah, I actually just got out of the hospital yesterday. And that's the second time I've been in less than 6 months. Almost to the day. It was like 4 months, almost to the day from the first time. I was like, oh my goodness, something's going on. So I'll just talk about like what got me there, and then just some of the stuff that's come up, just with our health and how we've tried to navigate things so far. So the first time I went to the hospital was back in January.
Right.
Yeah, and this was the first time really in my life. I think I've been to like urgent care plenty of times, and I've been to I think I went to the ER like one time when I was like a little kid because I had a rock thrown in my forehead. And I was real little. I think I was in like second grade when that happened. Ever since then, I have not been in the hospital. So this was the first time this year, January of 2023 was the first time that I had been stayed in the hospital. And
as an adult too, no?
Yeah, as an adult, yeah. And well, at the time I was 31. I'm 32 now. So I thought that was pretty good. Pretty good. So what happened back in January? I think I was just feeling a lot of abdominal pain in January, and I didn't know where it was coming from. I feel like my bowel movements weren't what they should be. When I would eat, it just didn't quite feel right. And then I was having some abdominal pain. So, my thing is to go to urgent care. 1, because it's cheaper. 2, it's usually a shorter wait. I don't got time.
And you can check in from your car.
Right. I'm just let me get in there. They give you medicine. And then usually that's enough for me. And so I went to urgent care, and I had new insurance this year. And so I had never been to the urgent care that I was going to. And so I went, and I'm there, and she tells me that I have a urinary tract infection. And I'm just I've had that before. I know what that is. And I don't think that that's what it is, but okay, you're telling me.
I have a question. Did she just go based on your symptoms, or did she actually do the test?
I mean, she did a test. She took my urine, did a test. She told me I had
a UTI.
And I'm I've had a couple UTIs. I know what those feel like. This, I wasn't having any issues peeing, none of that. I know what a UTI is. This did not feel like that. But I'm okay. She gave me antibiotics. I was let me just try the antibiotics and see if they was working. This was on a Saturday. I got up real early on a Saturday morning. Let me get this taken care of and get up out of there.
Let me just go.
Yeah, so I started taking the antibiotics. And I'm I really don't feel like this right, but let me just go with it. So I'm taking the antibiotics for a few days. And usually when you have a UTI, your symptoms go away. At least in my experience, they go away in a few days.
After the second or third day.
Right, before I even finish it. Mm-hmm. Before I finish the antibiotics. So I was okay, I'll try it for a few days. That was not going away.
Oh, sure.
I'm okay, I'm not finna fool around with it. urgent care no more. Because first of all, I gotta pay $100 when I go to urgent care.
Literally, like I had gone and they told me, they're like, "We take your insurance," so I didn't pay nothing there. So I was like, "You sure? Like I don't gotta pay nothing?" They're like, "Yeah. Like you good? Like okay, cool." And then the bill comes in like 2 months later, talking about 120, and I said, "Wait a minute, what?" So I had to call and I'm like, "Is this for me?" Like, you know, and yeah, it was 120. You know,
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, I forget how expensive, like.
Yeah,
Healthcare is.
Yeah, I mean, it was $100, and I was like, well, that's better than the $300 that I had to pay at the ER. So I was like, I wanted to try that first, but I'm like, I'm not going back there. She clearly don't know what the hell she doing. Like, and I knew it was wrong, but I just kind of like, I knew that it did not feel like a UTI, but I just went with it.
Well, you also trust, like, 'cause you're educated, like, you know, I'm not gonna judge your judgment on things.
Right, like I'm coming to the expert. You tell me it's a UTI. I'm not a doctor. I didn't go to school for this. It don't feel like that, but okay, maybe it's different this time. So I followed her instructions. It did not work. And she told me, like, if it don't get better, then go to the ER. And so I did go to the ER.
Why was she doubting herself? I just say
they always tell you that. If it don't get better or something, you know, like they always tell you that. And so I was like, dang, I got to go to the ER. Because it was like, okay, so the pain was really, really bad. Like one night, I don't even think I could like lay down. I couldn't fall asleep or nothing. And it was like real late. I think it was like 11 o'clock at night. And I was like, damn, should I just wait until the morning to go to the ER? I really don't want to like go now.
Right.
But it was just getting so bad, and I was like, I gotta go. Like, I can't do it no more. And I have a pretty high pain tolerance. I can deal with a lot of stuff, which is why I can usually wait for urgent care for a lot of stuff. But I was like, I gotta go. And so I go to the ER, and mind you, I'd never been to the ER before. And so I go to the ER and they send me right back. And I'm like, okay, cool. We gonna be out of here quick.
Real quick.
Quick. They just sent me to the back to triage you. So they just want to see how serious your symptoms are. And then you go back to the waiting room to wait for hours on freaking end after that.
Yeah. And I hate when they do that. Like they had done that to my mom and they had pumped because we had gone in, and then my mom's like, "Oh, that was quick," or whatever, right? And then they check like your vitals, like they ask what symptoms, they and all of that stuff. And then my mom was about to sit down because it was like a little like one of those like whatever they're called, like bed things, whatever.
Yeah.
And my mom's like, ready, and then like I was like, "Nah, you gotta go back in the waiting room."
Yeah.
And she was like, "What?"
Right. I was like, okay, cool. Dang, I ain't never, like, I mean, I heard, like, a long wait times at the ER, but I was like, damn, this quick. Like, and I had seen people in the waiting room, so, okay, maybe I'm serious. Like, That
would have freaked me out, though. I'm not going to lie.
I was like, already? She was like, just go right back. And I was like, dang, okay. And she told me to go back and sit in some chairs, like, that were sitting there. And I didn't even get a chance to sit in the chairs. The dude like came and met me, and like I walked straight back to the room with him. So then I'm like, we went all the way to the back, and then the doctor, the nurse and the doctor asked me the same questions, like what brought me in, all that stuff. They took my vitals, whatever, and then they had me go to registration, and registration is just so you could pay. And so then I had to pay $300. I was like, Jesus.
Without even seeing a doctor?
Without even seeing them yet. They take you to triage.
Shut up.
Then they send you to registration to pay. And then you go out in the waiting room and wait for freaking ever.
What hospital did you go to? Because my mom didn't have to pay
I
before.
went to Rush.
Yeah, my
I mean, I could tell them, like, I don't got it. Like, they can't refuse
Right.
your treatment. So I could say I don't got it.
Right.
But then I'm going to get a bill,
Right, but I'm surprised that they still had you pay before.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, they had you pay right after they triage you. Like, they don't play. They trying to get their money, I guess. And then they call you back for any test that they ordered. So that time they had ordered an ultrasound for me. And she was doing an ultrasound of my stomach, and she was pressing so hard on my stomach. I was in so much pain. I started crying. Like, it was so bad and so painful. And so you send me through that, and then now I got to go sit in the waiting room. And I was in that waiting room for like 22 hours.
Shut up. 22 hours?
Like 22 hours. Like
I
to the very next
left.
day. Like 22 hours. The waiting room was packed full of people had been waiting even longer than me. You know? And I was waiting 22 hours. And then, you know, like, the longer you sit there, the more people like, I'm leaving. And a bunch of people that had been there before me started leaving, like, that next morning. So we had been there all night, and they just not. I'm like, I've been through too much. I'm staying. Like, something is wrong. Like, I need to know what's wrong. And, like, this fucking sucks that I'm sitting here. I'm planning to complain, but I still need to sit here because, like, something is wrong.
Right.
And so after those 22 hours, I go back to see a doctor finally. And the first thing, I mean, they take blood from me and everything. And basically, the pain had, like, kind of stopped at that point. Like, I've been sitting there all night. Like, the pain had kind of stopped. But I knew something was wrong. Like, so I need y'all to check me out. And the doctor's like, well, there's nothing we can do. And I'm like, what?
You made me sit for 22 hours.
That's the first thing you want to say to me is, like, just go home, and if it changes, like, what?
Right.
Like, that made me upset. And I started crying then. I got upset. I called my mom, and I was like, he just said the pain's gone. Like, we can give you, like, no, I don't even think he said we can give you anything. He was just like, we can go home. If anything happens, then you come back or whatever.
And then wait another 22
like, just
hours.
wait and see. Yeah. So I'm pissed. Like, I'm pissed. I started crying because I'm like, I'm mad. I just sat out here for 22 fucking hours, and you are telling me that...
Good luck. Basically.
And I know something is wrong. Like, I'm not having the pain right now, but I know something is wrong. And so I call my mom. I'm mad. I'm like, he just told me ain't nothing he could do, and I'm crying. And I think the doctor could see how mad I was. And so he was like, well, let me go talk to somebody else or something and see. I think he wanted to go talk to, like, the specialist or something, like the GI specialist or whatever. And so he went and did that, came back and was like, okay, we want you to have an MRI and probably get admitted. I said, okay. At least I feel like you're doing something now. Right. But why do we take all that? You know, like, why did it take for me to be why is that your first response? Why didn't you go check with the specialist first and telling me that bullshit, you know? Oh, I was so mad.
That would have pissed me off too, though, because I'd been like...
Because I know something is wrong. But sometimes they make you feel like it's not. And so then they put me in a room in the ER to wait for the MRI. But then they found me a room upstairs in the hospital, so they moved me upstairs. And I waited there for the MRI. They took me for the MRI late at night. Never had an MRI done in my life.
That's scary.
Never had an MRI done in my life. Well, they sent me for an MRI and a CT. So
okay,
I went and did a CT. And I was like, oh, that's not that bad. The CT wasn't that bad. It was like five minutes less. Like, it was quick. And the machine wasn't scary. Like, I only went like halfway in. Yeah. Like, it was just your bottom half. Just my bottom half. So I was like, okay, cool. That was quick. Easy. Right. And so then they sent me for the MRI. And it's this long ass tube. Yeah. That you sit in. Like, you have to lay still. Yeah. But they asked me if I was claustrophobic, and I'm like, no, you know, but like, this is different than being claustrophobic. Like, you cannot, literally, you laying there, like, my head is here, and the top of the tube is here, and nothing around you but, like, tube. Like, I'm getting anxiety just thinking about it. Like, it make you feel claustrophobic. Yes. It's scary. It was scary. I had never had, and they don't prep you enough. No. Like, asking me if I'm claustrophobic, like, no, I'm not. But like, if you put me in something like that, if you put something enclosed, I will be. Yeah, like, you literally cannot move. They can't pull you. Like, they can only pull you out. Like, even if there was like something happened, I need to get out my. How am I? You know what's scary about an MRI? Mm-hmm. That I've always had the most fearful thing
is like you have to let them know if you have any like bolts in you.
Oh,
because,
yeah.
Like,
you have to let them know if there's any type of metal in you.
Yep. And my fear is, what if I don't know? I got something.
What do you think? The machine gonna suck you up?
No, it yanks the bolt out of you.
Yeah. How would you not know that though?
I don't know. What if they did it when I was a baby and my parents never told me? And like it just like starts hurting and then it comes out, bro.
Oh my gosh.
Like
that thought came across my mind the second time. I don't know why. Because I had an MRI the second time.
I was like, that's my biggest fear. Like, I'd be thinking about that. And I'm like, Lord, don't ever let me have an MRI because I would freak out.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely not what I could imagine. Right. I mean, they told me, but, like, I've never had an MRI. I never had a reason to look up an MRI. Like, I just never, I'm like, oh, my gosh. So I did that. And then I stayed in the hospital. They were trying to get my pain under control, making sure that I wasn't having any more issues, basically that I could eat and all that. So they had put me on, I think, a liquid diet. Yeah, they had put me on a liquid diet to make sure I could tolerate food. And then they slowly kind of progressed me to, like, regular food to make sure I was tolerating that okay. And then once the MRI results came back, they told me that... Well, when I was in the ER, they did the ultrasound. And they did tell me I had gallstones. That the MRI showed that. But it could have passed, which is why the pain had, like, gone away. But I'm like, how would it have passed? I didn't use the bathroom. I didn't do anything.
You're like, I didn't throw up. I didn't,
like, where did it pass to?
Right.
That's what I'm thinking. But I'm like, okay, whatever. The pain gone. Fine. So the MRI results showed that, my gallbladder was, like, inflamed and that I had gallstones. And basically they told me, like, that they would recommend surgery because, like, if I don't get it, like, these attacks could come back and, like, keep happening.
Did they tell you, like, what could have caused it to be enlarged?
No, I mean, they told me a lot. Some of it has to do with diet. I think that's what the only thing they told me as far as, like, the gallstones was diet. They might have said something else, but that's all I remember. This was back in January.
Right.
So that's all I remember. But they did recommend surgery. And I'm just like, I never had surgery before. I've never been anywhere. Like, this is my first experience for everything. So I'm like, okay. Well, I definitely don't want to go through the stuff I've been through the past week. So, like, yeah, get it out of me if it's going to solve my problem. So I wasn't as anxious about the surgery as I thought I would be, honestly.
My fear is the anesthesia. Like, my fear is, like, if I react wrong to it.
Yeah. I think I thought that I would freak out a little bit more initially when they told me, but I didn't. So once, like, I was able to eat food or whatever in the hospital, okay, they sent me home. And they gave me the number and everything to call a surgeon to do a consult with the surgeon and all that. So I did schedule the appointment with the surgeon. She talked to me about getting it removed. I felt really confident with the surgeon. I thought she was great. She explained everything very well to me. Like, she just made me feel so confident in her. And so then we scheduled the surgery. And I think the surgery was, like, close to a month out from that appointment that I had with her. I think I had the appointment. Yeah, so I went to the hospital. I was in the hospital from January 18th to the 20th. And then I had the consult with her, like, 2 weeks later, like, beginning of February, I think. And then the surgery was scheduled for March 2nd. So I had from beginning of February to March 2nd to just, like, figure out my affairs. Because she told me I would take anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks off. And she told me she would probably give me the 4 weeks to take off, just to make sure that I'm really recovered before I go back to work. And so I was like, I had never taken that much time off work. You know, I had taken 2 weeks off for vacation, but like not for no like medical emergency or, you know, like medical surgeries or anything. So I'm like, okay, I guess I gotta apply for like short-term disability, which I get.
Which is like more paperwork, like more questions, you know.
Yeah. And so the way that my job has set up, you just go straight to like the disability company, like it's online. You just put in like the dates or whatever, and then they send you the paperwork that you need done. And so I was like, okay, that's pretty simple. They sent me the paperwork. I sent it to the surgeon. She filled it out, sent it to them. And then they sent something to my job to like do like a final approval or something like that.
Okay.
And it felt like it was taking forever. I'm like, I did this a month in advance, and like here we are coming up on the date, and it's still like not approved. Like, what the hell is going on? So I'm like,
I got surgery
I'm
tomorrow.
still having surgery.
Right.
Right. I still went into the surgery. So I was like, okay, I don't even think it got approved till the week of, like maybe a couple of days before. Wow. And I'm like, I had started this a month before. Like, what, you know? So, because I wanted to know, like, what my payments, like, how I'm getting paid, like, what my payments was looking like. I didn't know, like, how long I had to wait until I started getting paid, because they only pay, like, at my job, you had to be off for, I think, 10 days or something like that before the payments, like, before they start paying you.
Oh, that's almost 2 weeks. That's 2 weeks, no?
Yeah, most places are 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. At least from my understanding, most places are 2 weeks, and you use your vacation time.
Your PTO,
yeah.
I think so, yeah, because even if you go on maternity leave. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so I'm like, damn, I'm going to have to go unpaid for a little bit, because I definitely don't get that much
right,
PTO.
Like, I'm like.
But I knew I was going to have to go unpaid, but I wanted to know how long I was going to have to go unpaid. So I like wanted them to hurry up and approve it. Like, it was taking forever. I kept calling them, like, what is going on? Like, I did my part, my doctor did her part. Like, what the hell? Like,
this on y'all.
What are y'all doing?
Right.
So I don't even think I got the like the final form until like after the surgery, I think.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I think I went unpaid for a week.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh. And then on short-term disability, you only get paid, I think I get paid 60%.
60 is not that bad.
50 or 60, I can't remember.
Because I heard it was 50.
I can't remember if it was 50 or 60.
Yeah, I've heard from other people.
It wasn't a lot. That's why I tell you that. It wasn't a lot.
Right.
It's not what I'm used to getting paid, obviously, but it was better than going unpaid. Yeah. And that was an adjustment. Like, living like that.
Yeah. No, yeah, like it.
You know? For the first half of March, I was cool because I had my February checks. You know, like, my February check was okay for me, you know, like, because I worked all the way to March 2nd. So I did get a full check in March from
that's good,
from February. But the end of March and April was looking...
But that's when all the bills come.
Real rough, yeah.
That's when the bills be coming.
It's looking real rough. So it was definitely tight. I had to I depleted almost my savings that's connected to like my checking account. Not depleted it, but it definitely went down, which I didn't like, but you know. So that was quite an adjustment, you know, and I get paid a decent amount, you know. I'm just thinking like people that don't get paid nearly as much, like,
well, I
started to be like, should I go back to work earlier? You know, like I started to think like that,
right.
Like, should I go back to work sooner? Because like, ooh, this is rough.
Well, I'm just thinking like for the moms that like maybe go on maternity leave and they're earning maybe like $30,000 a year, you know, like, right. That's scary.
Yeah. It is. It's hard. And not like, you know, like I don't have kids. Like, gosh, thinking about the expenses if I had kids, you know, and it was tight. Like, cause my bills equate to how much I make, you know, like I have bills that equate to how much I make. So, I wasn't able to do nothing extra. It's not like I was going to anyways. I was at home from surgery, like,
right.
But
you could have shopped online,
right? I couldn't even do that. Like, I could not, like, nothing extra, like bare minimum, like pay your bills and that's it.
And that's it. Nothing else.
And that's it. And the bills were getting tight, you know, because I usually split my bills between my 2 checks, but it's like it's all coming out of one, basically.
Basically, yeah.
Coming from one. That was rough. That was rough. So I had the surgery. I was a little anxious going into the surgery, and I think it's because of anesthesia. I was like, dang, what if I don't wake up? Like,
right?
Because some people just don't wake up from anesthesia, like, and they don't. From what I understand, they don't always know why. Like, some people just don't wake up.
Right.
So I was like, damn, what if I don't wake up?
Or what if I end up in a coma because of that?
Yeah. You know? So I'm in the hospital. That's kind of what's running in my mind, like sitting in the pre-op room. But I was able to like maintain or manage the anxiety for the most part. And the anesthesiologist came in and talked to me and told me, you know, everything that they were going to be doing or whatever. And then he came in to give me like an injection or whatever. And he was like, do you drink alcohol? And I was like, yeah, I drink like tequila. He was like, just imagine that this is like 2 shots of tequila. And he put it in. And that's exactly what it felt like. It felt like I had just took 2 shots. Like that feeling, like after that's what, I don't know, that's what it felt like. So I was surprised at how accurate that was. And then
like, who said this? Like, that's my thing. Who came up with this?
Yeah. Enough to remember it.
Right.
I mean, I guess, but... And then the next thing I remember, I'm like, the lady's like waking me up talking about, well, no, I remember them taking me into the surgery room. And then they said they were like strapping my legs down. They put the weight things on my legs. And then I don't remember nothing else till the nurse was like waking me up or trying to wake me up because I could barely wake up. And she just like, open your eyes, open your eyes, open your eyes. And I just like could not.
But you heard her say it?
Yeah, I was hearing her saying that I could not open my eyes, and then all I remember falling asleep again. Open your eyes, open your eyes. Fall asleep again. Like, I just could not wake up at all. They had me in the room. I just could not, like, I just wanted to sleep. I just could not wake up at all.
Oh, man.
And then, so they sent me home the same night. And we were trying to figure out medication because they had prescribed me medication. Mm-hmm. But by the time I was going home, all the damn pharmacies were closed.
They didn't have a pharmacy at the hospital?
No. So, not that I know of. But, so we had to find a Walgreens that was open like that late. And then we had to wait for them to switch the prescription or whatever. So then we go to Walgreens to get my prescription before we go home. And I'm just feeling sick. I get out of the car, start throwing up.
Well, that's what I heard people
walked
too.
By me was like, "Are you okay, ma'am?"
That's what I heard though. Sometimes you throw up after the anesthesia, like you just.
I was just feeling sick, like, and I started throwing up. My mom was in the back seat, helping me. But then I came home and I just went right to sleep that night. And I didn't really do much. I think for that first week, I didn't really do much. It was hard to.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah. I was in pain. I felt like the pain pills weren't doing nothing. I couldn't take a crap. And that's the worst feeling ever.
Right.
You can't, like, I think it had been like a good week before I like really
like a good one.
Yeah. And that was rough. So, and I had called them and told them that like I can't like go to the bathroom. I really wasn't eating much of anything at all. Yeah, and then they had me take some medicine to get me to pass some bowels. But yeah, then after that, I recovered pretty well. My bowel movements kind of changed a little bit, but at least they were happening. The incisions weren't bad at all. They healed just fine. They didn't really hurt too much either. You can still see on my stomach where they're from, but then that happened and I was okay. Yeah, and fast forward to...
Or so you thought.
You're right. And so I thought I was okay. Then fast forward to May. Right after my birthday. My birthday just happened.
Mm-hmm, it did.
Just happened on the 15th. And then here we are on the 20th. And I'm at work. So I was at work. And I just felt like a sensation in my chest. And it's like, oh, that's weird.
That's not normal.
Yeah. But I was like, maybe that's heartburn. Like, I don't know. I ain't ate shit, but maybe it's heartburn, you know? And it was like maybe an hour or so before I left. So I was like, whatever. And then I left work and I was driving home. I kind of felt it again. I was like, okay, that's weird. Maybe I'm just hungry. So then I got something to eat. Then we ran some errands or whatever. And I kind of felt it here and there. But not, I think I was busy. So it wasn't like stopping me from doing anything. And then I came home around like 7:00. It started hitting me real bad, like real bad chest pain, real bad like upper back pain. I'm like, what the? Okay, something is wrong.
Right.
Like, okay, let me go lay down. Like, let me go rest.
And go sleep it off.
Something like that's my go-to. But I couldn't even lay down. Laid down, it was worse. I was like, oh shit, let me get up.
Oh yeah.
Let me get up. Let me go try and sit in the living room. Nope. Let me try and lay down in the living room. Nope. I was like, damn, okay, maybe if it's heartburn, let me try this Gas X. No, not working. Then I'm like, okay, let me just take some pain medicine. So I took my some Tylenol. And I waited about an hour. That did not work. And then I had threw up like an hour after I took the Tylenol. And I was just like, okay, something is seriously wrong. But I'm like, I do not want to go fool around with that freaking ER again. Like, I was in there
22 hours. No.
I was like, I do not want to go fool around with them again. This is like around 10:00. I'm like debating, should I go? Should I not go? Should I go? Should I not go? I don't know what to do. And I'm like, damn, I definitely don't want to tell Derek. Like, he went with me last time too. He was in that BS too. And I'm like, I know he ain't going to go. You know what I mean? Like, and I just don't feel like arguing about it. And I'm just like, I really don't want to go. I really don't want to go. Like, maybe if I just wait till the morning, it'll be gone. You know, like, it'll be gone. If I could just make it through the night.
And then go to urgent care the next day.
I really didn't want to go. I'm done with urgent care. Because something else happened with urgent care that I didn't talk about.
Oh.
Something else happened after my surgery with urgent care. We'll go back to that. So I'm like, I'm done with urgent care.
Right. You're like,
forget urgent care. I'm done with urgent care. So I'm like, I got to go to the ER again. Like, or nothing.
right.
So I'm just like, oh my gosh. What do I do? Then I'm like, okay, I gotta go. I gotta go to the ER. So I told Derek, I was like, I gotta go to the ER. You don't have to go with me, but I gotta go.
You're like, I'm dipping.
Yeah, like, I gotta go. You don't have to go with me, but I definitely have to go. I don't want to wait, but I gotta go. So I'm going. The whole time I'm like praying, Lord, please don't let it be 22 hours again. Please, Jesus. And then I'm like, maybe they'll take me seriously. I got chest pain. Like, maybe it'll be quick.
It could be,
I'm trying to, encourage myself, talk myself through it. Because I'm going back to the same ER. And then I was like, should I try another ER? And I'm like, I'm going to run the same risk of waiting at another ER.
Right.
At least these doctors know me, you know. So I went back to Rush. I got to Rush. It was like 11:15, I think. They sent me right back again, right? You know? And I'm sitting back there a little bit longer. So I'm like, okay, they taking me serious. They started doing the test in the room with me immediately. They came and did an EKG on me, like, right away.
Well, it's because you said chest. Mm-hmm. Like, chest to them is like, oh.
Yeah, it's serious.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they did that. The doctor come in, asked me all these questions or whatever. They sent me the registration. So I'm like, damn, here come these $300 again. I had the money with me. I'm like, damn, I hope they don't charge me. But I had it with me in case they do. So I go to registration. And she's like, oh, the only thing you have to pay is the balance that you owe us. And I was like, I ain't going to bring up the $300. So I said, okay, cool. Okay, cool.
That's it. Say less.
I'm not going to bring up $300 if you don't say $300.
You tell me what I gotta pay.
Right. So then I go out to the waiting room. I'm feeling better this time because the waiting room kind of empty. I'm like, okay, we good. We good. The waiting room kind of empty. So, but I'm sitting there couple hours, couple more hours. Then some guy comes to take me to do an x-ray on me. And then I go back to the waiting room, sitting in some more. And some more. So then I go ask the nurse up front. I was like, how much longer, is it going to be? She's like, you got 4 people in front of you. I said, okay.
Oh, that's not too bad for
Right.
him.
Right. It wasn't too bad. And then they had called like 3 people. And it was like, I think it was like 3 o'clock in the morning at that time. Maybe 2 or 3. Okay. It might have been closer to 2. 2 or 3 in the morning. They had called 3 people. And I'm like, she just told me out 4 people in front of me. So,
you're like,
so I'm coming up, right?
Yeah.
I'm coming up.
I only got one more.
Right. Tell me why people running through the door, gunshot wounds.
Oh.
That just pushed me back 2 hours.
Right.
Like, gunshot wounds. 2 people came in there, gunshot wounds. I mean, bleeding. And, like, walked through the front door.
Like, hand, and
bleeding.
they're just like.
This girl is, like, bleeding out of her crotch. Like, gunshot wound. Don't know what the bullet's at. And then some other dude got a bullet. He don't know where it's at, but his leg is numb. And I'm like, okay, damn. If I thought I was next, I know I ain't now.
Right, no.
And so then another dude comes in maybe 30 minutes later. Got hit by a car.
Oof.
On his bicycle. So his head, he bleeding out. I'm like,
I'm surprised they didn't.
That's another hour.
I was like,
they didn't come by ambulance.
That's what I was gonna say. What?
Yeah, both of those came by car.
Nuh-uh, I'm calling an ambulance.
Yeah, ambulance people come through the back. We don't even see them.
Right, they go straight to the back. That's what I saw. Just a heads up. That's what I saw on TikTok. Somebody had said they were talking about the ER, and they had said like, oh, it takes 4 hours or whatever. And somebody on TikTok commented, "That's why you go on the ambulance." Because you go straight back, no questions asked. Doctor sees you right away. But
it costs
that's
so
what I was gonna
much
say.
to take an
the
ambulance.
cost of an ambulance, and that's why people don't do it.
It's ridiculous.
But if you really want to get seen fast, just take the ambulance.
Right. I mean, if I got a gunshot wound, give me an ambulance.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if I got something serious like that going, if I get hit by a car, give me an ambulance.
Right.
Like, I'm not gonna get no ambulance because I could drive myself.
Right.
Like, and so they walked through the front. Yeah, they drove. Well, the one that got hit by a bicycle, his mom drove him, and then the ones that got shot, a friend drove him because he was carrying the girl inside. And so that was a mess. And then, but then I heard them talking. They said that they transferred the gunshot wounds to shoulder. I'm like, okay, what the taking so long then? If y'all transferred them to shoulder, because I waited like a couple more hours. I don't even think I went into the. They finally called me. I think it was like maybe 5 o'clock in the morning. And I had got there at 11.
Right. That's
the night before.
Right.
So, I mean, it wasn't 22 hours, but it was a good, like, 7.
That's what I was going to say. That's a good night shift right there.
Yeah. Yeah. People, they change shifts while I was there.
Yeah.
So, they put me in a room in the emergency room. Those beds are freaking horrible. Mind you, I was already having back pain throughout the week because of something I was moving. So, now I got to sit in this hard bed after I done sat in the hard emergency room chairs. And I'm in the ER, they doing all these blood tests, and they want me to give urine and all that. And then they keep telling me, well, your EKG was fine because we would have brought you back sooner if it wasn't. Chest x-ray is okay. Blood tests keep coming back fine. My urine was okay. So like they telling me, I mean, doctors coming in and out telling me everything we testing is coming back normal. So then I'm starting to think like, damn, do they not believe me? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
You know how people think like, because I haven't told them that I have anxiety. Like, I leave that out because I'm like, I don't want them to think like this is just anxiety, and which is a lot of patients I see are worried about that. And I get it, because when a doctor sees anxiety on your chart, when you come in with symptoms, that's always right there in their mind that it's anxiety.
So they bring out the psychiatrist instead. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So then I'm like, damn, I know I ain't make this shit up. Like, right. I felt the pain. Like, but then, like, part of me is like, you know, my thoughts are racing. Like, damn, is it anxiety?
Right. You start doubting yourself.
Yeah, like nothing coming back normal. Like, are they gonna believe me? Like that something is actually wrong? Like I know something. Like the whole time I'm like questioning myself is the whole time that I'm like talking myself through it though too, because I'm like, I know something wrong though. Right. Like this is, I never felt like this. Like I know something is wrong. But like they keep telling me shit come back normal. So then I'm like, what if they don't find shit? Like then what? What do I do then? And then the dude had told me that we're gonna check and see if it's like a GI issue, because he said sometimes abdominal issues can mimic heart issues, like can mimic like chest pain. And
abdominal issues can mimic. I didn't know that. Can
mimic chest pain. I didn't know that either.
Well, I guess if you have heartburn, it mimics chest. I don't know.
Yeah. So he told me that. I was like, okay, well maybe it's not my chest and it's something else. So like that makes sense that none of the chest tests came back with anything. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, these blood tests, like somebody better tell me something. Like
you're like one of my levels better be up.
Something better be up. Like I'm hoping that something is wrong because I know something is wrong. You know, and then the doctor comes in. I think you had texted me. Yeah, you had texted me while I was waiting. Mm-hmm. And, like, that's when they told me, like, all the tests were, like, negative. So I'm like, damn, they gonna discharge me? They gonna discharge me because ain't nothing wrong with me. Like,
they'll be like, this lady over here, you know, we all worried.
That's what I'm thinking, but I'm so worried that they're gonna discharge me because I know something is wrong. Right. You know? Like, I'm still having the pain. Like, I'm still feeling it, so I know something is wrong. Right. But pain is those things, like it's one of those things, like that.
It's hard to not only describe it, but it's like pain is different to each person.
Mm-hmm. Right? It is really hard for me to describe it. They always ask you questions and stuff, but I feel like I'm horrible at describing the pain. Right. You know, so I'm like, gosh. So I was like, you might have to come pick me up because I feel like they finna discharge me.
You're gonna be like, peace. Deal with this shit at home.
And Derek had to work, so I was like, damn, they just gonna discharge me, and I'm gonna just go home not knowing what the hell wrong with me.
Thinking I'm crazy now.
Yeah, and then I'm like, okay, what's going on now? And then we're waiting for one more test to come back, and I was like, okay, they're waiting for one more test, and so while they're waiting for one more test, I was like, damn, I'm getting kind of hungry. I mean, I've been here all night. Like, so I called the nurse. I was like, can I get some food? I'm hungry. And she's like, yeah, they're going to be bringing around food in a second. And I said, okay, cool. Because I'm damn hungry now. Y'all done stress me out. I ain't ate all night. I actually hadn't ate since 2 p.m. on Saturday. And now we at like 7 o'clock in the morning on 7.
That's what I was going to say. I think I text you like at 8 or
8 o'clock in the 8 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. So I hadn't ate since 2 p.m. on Saturday. Mm-hmm. And so then the doctor comes in almost immediately after I asked about food. The doctor comes in and she's like, okay, we found something. I was like, oh.
You're like, you best believe you found something. I don't even care
what it is. And thank God that you found something because I know I'm not crazy. I mean, I do care what it was, but like in the moment I didn't. I was just like, thank God that you found something, because like that just like made me feel.
It gave you reassurance, you know.
Yeah. And so she was like, your lipase level is elevated. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that means.
But sure.
Okay.
What do I need to do?
She was like, so that could mean pancreatitis. And that's like, pancreatitis? I don't know what that is, but it don't sound good.
When you text me that, I had to Google it up. I was like, what is this?
I was like, it don't sound good. And she was like, so we are going to send you for an MRI. And we're not going to have you eat any food right now. And I said, shit, I just asked for food.
You know what now? You know what I'm thinking now? Yeah. The doctor was probably near when you called the nurse and like, before they give her food, let me Let me go tell her she can't
I
eat.
literally just asked for food, and she gonna come in there and tell me we don't want you to eat or drink nothing right now.
Right. Oh, for the MRI.
Period. They didn't want me to eat or drink nothing.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, we get in there. They didn't want me to eat and drink nothing. So then I wait for the MRI and I think a CT or something. Or was it a CT first? It might have been. She said we're gonna have you get a CT, but at some point they had me get an MRI too.
Okay.
So the dude comes to CT was first. The dude comes to get me to get a CT, and he's explaining it to me. He's like, we're going to do a CT with contrast, which is different than the first time I went to the hospital. I just had a normal CT. The CT with contrast is they inject you with this dye. Right. And he was like, are you allergic or whatever? I said, not that I know of. I don't know.
We better hope.
Right. Just have something ready in case I am.
You better have the EpiPen right there.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm allergic to anything. So he's like, so as far as you know. Yeah, I said, as far as I know. So he takes me back, and I have to transfer from bed to bed, and mind you, my whole time my back is hurting.
Right.
You know, like I have to keep moving, and it's hard to move. So he injected me with that dang on dye. When I tell you it got so hot right here, like hot, like I'm like, damn, am I finna pee on myself? Oh. It got so hot. He's like, how you doing? It was okay. I said, it kind of got hot in my private area. He's like, yeah, did it feel like you were going to pee on yourself? I said, yeah, that's exactly what
was that supposed to?
He said, a lot of people like feel like that. And I was like, okay, that felt so, it's just like, as soon as he put it in, it's like all the dye went there. Is what it felt like.
That is so weird there, though.
It felt so weird. It felt so weird.
Oh my God.
So that was my first time for that. All these are like first. And so after that,
they popped your cherry in every place.
And then he explained to me, he was like, you were waiting so long because they wanted to make sure I wasn't pregnant. So like they had to give urine. But I'm like, pregnancy tests usually come back quick.
Right.
Like, well, we were waiting to make sure you weren't pregnant. He's like, that's why you were waiting so long. I said, oh, okay.
Oh, you can't get a CAT scan if you're pregnant?
Yeah, I guess not. I guess not. I guess not. I don't know. Or maybe they change it up. I don't know. And then what happened after that? I was in a room for a while. Then they switched me to another room because I was going to be admitted for observation. That's what the doctor came in when she told me it was pancreatitis. She's like, we want to admit you for observation for 23 hours. And so I was just sitting in the ER. Waiting for another room, and then they switched me to another room in the ER. I don't know why they did that, but they did that. And then I sat in that room for hours in another uncomfortable ass bed. And then they finally found me a bed. It was at 7 p.m. on Sunday. So this is how long I've been in the ER.
Right.
So
almost 24 hours. Yeah.
I got to the ER. I walked in at 11:15 p.m. Waited all that time. I didn't get seen by a doctor until like 5, 6 in the morning. And then I didn't know what was going on, like what the problem was, till around 8, 9 in the morning.
Right.
And then I didn't get upstairs, admitted into a bed until 7 p.m. Sunday night.
Right.
And so they were going to send me, well, I was waiting in the ER. They were going to send me to get an MRI from the ER, but I guess a room became available. So they sent me upstairs. Then they sent me to the MRI. So that was the first thing I did. I think I was up in the room maybe like an hour or two. And then they came and got me for the MRI. So then I went to get the MRI done. So we get on the bed again, this long ass, scary ass tube again.
I can't.
And I felt way more anxious this time.
Because you already knew what was coming.
Yeah, but like in it, I felt more anxious this time. And I don't know why. I think because my back was hurting and I was worried like if I could sit still. Oh. Because my back was hurting so bad. And so I think that part was making me a little anxious. I was like, damn, I don't want to mess it up and do it all over again.
Yeah, not me.
So I'm sitting in the machine. Maybe like 5 minutes go by. And the machine ain't making no noise. Like, those machines are loud.
Yeah.
Like, loud. And they ain't making no noise. I'm like, damn, is he doing the test or what? Like, I'm just sitting there. And then he come pull me out. He's like, we got to try a different machine because this one's not working. So I'm like, damn, I just went in that tube for nothing.
For 5 minutes.
In that tube, like that scary tube. So
right.
I'm like, damn, now I got to do it all over again. This test takes like 30 minutes.
Right, you got to lay there for a while.
Yeah, so I'm like, dang, we got to start all over again. So that's in my head. I got to do this 30 more minutes. So go to the second room, get in the tube. Again.
Can't.
The second room, cold as a motherfucker. Like, cold air. I'm freezing. Like,
while you're in there.
Yeah. Like, air is just blowing on me. I'm freezing. I'm just like, man, I wish he would hurry up because it is cold in this bitch up in here. Like, oh my gosh. That machine don't work.
Nope.
That one was really making me anxious. When I was in the second one, I was like, man, I'm really anxious right now. Like, what if something... Like, because I ain't hear no noise. I'm like, what if something happened to him? And then I'm like, if something happened to him, I'm just stuck in this machine. Well, in the MRI room, it's just him.
Right.
It's nobody else in there. It's just him. So I'm like, something happened to him. I'm just stuck in this tube. I can't get out of this. I'm just sitting here all night. I'm just stuck.
Until the cleaning lady comes.
That's the anxious thought I was having. I don't know. I didn't have that the first time, so I don't know why I had that. So he pulled me out the second one. He's like, we're going to try this one more time. If it don't work, we're going to send you back upstairs, and then when it work, we'll bring you back. I said, gosh, I got to do this 30 more minutes. Like,
you're like, we could have been done.
30 could have been done by now. Now I got to sit through the dang old test again. So I'm like, Lord, I hope this works because I don't want to come back down here. So we go get in the machine and it's going. I'm like, okay, it's working. And so then it's done. I'm done with that. I can't eat or drink nothing this whole time.
Right.
Still, they got me on what they call an NPO diet, which is no liquids, no food. They barely want me drinking sips of water. Like, really, they don't even want me having that.
They're like, don't even drink your saliva.
They giving me fluids the whole time.
Oh, man.
So I'm like, damn, I'm hungry.
I'm hangry at this point.
2 p.m.
Right.
on Saturday.
But I'm hangry at this point.
It's almost Monday. So I'm like, let me just go to bed. And then I wake up on Monday. Still can't eat. I'm like, how long am I going to be on this liquid diet? Wake up on Monday. They don't have the results of the MRI yet because I guess it take forever for those. Because they trying to figure out what caused the pancreatitis. They asking me all these questions. They saying it could be from gallstones. And I'm like, but I had my gallbladder removed. You telling me I can still get gallstones even though I had my gallbladder removed? Yes, you can. And it could be from excessive alcohol use. And I'm like, I drink, but I don't drink like that.
Right.
And then it could be from smoking. I'm not a smoker. So I'm like, what the hell could it be? And so basically they don't damn know. So I'm like, maybe the MRI will tell them something. Basically they were waiting to see if the MRI will show like gallstones.
Oh, to see if you had them?
Yeah, to see if that was the cause. So I'm just waiting in the hospital. And at this point the plan is to wait for that and see if something needs to be done. Because the doctor explained to me, like, if there is a gallstone in there, they'll need to do, like, a little procedure to basically remove it out. Yeah. And so, meantime, they're just trying to make sure, like, they're going to move me up to liquids, make sure I can handle liquids, then move me up to food. Same thing as last time, make sure I can eat. And I'm just like, I don't want no damn liquids. I want some damn food. Right. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. We now in Monday afternoon. I still ain't.
And I haven't ate. Right.
Saturday at 2 p.m.
I would have been. I'm gonna sue all of y'all, bro, because I'm hungry.
Because I'm hungry. And so then what happens? Then the MRI results come back. Well, no, it was like I think it was almost 5 o'clock on Monday. And I'm like, anybody came back and told me the MRI results. I'm like, damn, they still ain't back. What the hell?
Right.
I did this on Sunday night. Like,
it's almost going to be Monday night.
I know the doctors leave at a certain time. So I'm like, I know I ain't leaving today. Well, the doctor that came in earlier on Monday told me that I probably wouldn't leave that on Monday. He said, best chance you'll leave Tuesday. I said, okay. But I'm like, they ain't came back. So I asked the nurse, I was like, have my MRI results came back? And she's like, yeah, I'll tell the doctor to like call you or to come back in here and let you know. So the doctor called me and was like, basically the MRI didn't really show too much, and that the doctors will be back tomorrow and explain. They'll talk to me more about it, basically. But basically, they didn't really find anything
that could have caused it.
Right. And so then the doctor comes in on Tuesday. Well, Monday night they let me eat solid foods. Let's say that.
That's a positive.
Yeah, Monday night they let me eat solid foods for dinner. I was grateful because I didn't even care what they brought me. I'm just like, I want some food. I'm hungry.
Right.
Because liquids, they just give you like juice, water, or some nasty ass broth. And they bought me like beef broth. I hate beef broth. Like, it was so
couldn't even be chicken broth, man.
Right. Like, it was something. I was like, I ain't eating this. I might as well starve. I was just like, I can't eat this. So I was grateful. I don't even care what they gave me on Monday. I ate it. And then the doctor comes in on Tuesday and she explains, she's like, they didn't see gallstones in the MRI. She's like, it could have been there, but it could have passed. I'm like, here we go with this pass.
Right. Like, I would have been like, forget y'all, bro. Don't come with me with that.
But basically, we don't know. That's what she's saying.
Same
basically,
thing.
We don't know what caused it. It's a mild case, but we don't know what caused it. So, she was like, all you could do now is like, I think I asked her what I could do now. She's like, what you could do now is just, watch the diet, watch the drinking, all that. That's basically it. They don't really have no answer. As long as we just want to get you to a point where you're tolerating food okay, you're not nauseous, you don't want to vomit, all that, and then you can go home today. I said, okay, cool. Well, she's like, do you want to go home? I said, yes, I want to get out of here. It is not comfortable being in the hospital. First of all, you cannot sleep well. I couldn't sleep well at all because of the beds, my back, everything. Plus, they wake you up all night doing blood, checking your vitals, taking blood, all types of shit. I'm just like,
bro, I need me some sleep.
I will say this time, the nurse that I had at night pretty much left me alone. She was super helpful and nice. I liked her. But she didn't come in and bother me like they did the first time I was there. I mean, I felt like they was in there every 10 minutes. I'm just like, geez. So then they released me or discharged me yesterday. Not released me. I'm not in prison. But they discharged me.
It felt like prison though.
Yeah. They discharged me yesterday. I still have some pain in my legs and stuff, but that's unrelated to what was going on up here. So now I'm just being a little bit more cautious of what I'm eating.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't drinking very often to begin with, so I definitely won't be drinking as often either.
Right. That's crazy though that they couldn't tell you exactly like what it was.
Yeah, they just treated the symptoms basically. Right. They gave me pain meds and stuff to treat the symptoms. Yeah.
They're putting out the fire but not getting to the root of it. You know, that's crazy.
So I'm like, I don't know what's going on with me, but like that's the second time in 4 months that I have been to the hospital. It's just like feels like there's just stuff going wrong with me all the time because, like I said, something happened after surgery with my leg. I was like having a real bad time. Like my leg was just like itching me like crazy, like itching. I'm like, what? Like itching, like I could not stop itching. So I'm like, what the hell is going on with my leg? It's itching like crazy. Like nothing was hurting. It was just my legs itching like bad. So I go to urgent care. I'm like, this ain't no emergency room thing. Like, it's just itching. So I go to urgent care. Because I'm like, something wrong. Like, my legs should not be itching like this.
Right.
Like, I don't have no rash, nothing. Like, it's something else going on. I go to urgent care. What the hell happened? Basically, nothing they could do. But they had me sitting there. And then I paid the $100 copay. And he wanted to give me something. I didn't even like how he treated me. But he wanted to give me something for the itching. I'm like, the itching ain't the problem. It's like I was having tingling. I was having real bad tingling in my legs and itching. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, the tingling is what's worrying me. Like, I feel like the itching is a symptom of the tingling.
Right.
And he wanted to give me something for itching, like hydroxyzine or something like that. And I'm like, no, that's not, like, I need something for this. He's like, we don't do that.
So y'all useless. That's what I'm hearing.
I just paid you $100.
Right.
Well, I didn't pay them. They were gonna bill me. They have billed me. I still ain't paid them.
Well, low key, I heard that too. That like, so this is, I don't know if this is health related or not, but I had gone to the dentist and they didn't have me pay anything. Like, I was like, okay, cool. But then I got a bill like 6 months, almost to a year after. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what? I thought I had paid what I needed to pay. I thought I was all good. So I had to call the dentist and I said, hey, why did y'all bill me for this? Mm-hmm. Tell me why. The dentist is like, there's nothing on your records. And I was like, what? Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah. And then I'm like, is this from collections then? Like, oh yeah. What is this? And she's like, no. She's like, there's nothing that you owe us. She's like,
but you got a bill.
Right. Wow. And it had like their name on it and stuff. And so she was like, honestly, she's like, if I were you, I wouldn't even worry about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. Yeah. I mean, I knew they were going to bill me for the $100, but I knew I wasn't going to pay it. Because he pissed me off.
Right.
Because you couldn't do nothing for me. And I don't even like the way he was like saying it. Like, I was just like, I'm done with urgent care because, first of all, you misdiagnosed me the first time. I didn't have a damn UTI. And then now this. Like, I'm done with urgent care.
No, yeah.
Urgent care is over. So, thankfully, I was able to get a quick doctor's appointment the same day. Like, after I left urgent care, I got right on, like, my MyChart. And I was like, Lord, please let me find any doctor, some doctor. And so I found a doctor. And I went to her. I felt like he didn't even look at me. Like, he didn't even look at my legs, didn't even touch my legs, nothing. She at least examined me.
Right.
And she gave me medicine, helped right away. And I'm just like, I'm done with urgent care. So they bill me for $100. They're going to have to send me collections because I'm not paying it. If you want to send me to collections for $100, by all means, please do it.
This is why we need our doctor.
Yeah.
And you know how many people have told me, because I've gone to urgent care before. Like, one day I woke up, what it looked like a bullseye, like, thing on my leg. And I said, fuck, I got bit by a tick or whatever. I'm like, great, I have Lyme disease now. Like, I was like, bro, this is why I can't be near a phone when I see stuff. So I'm like, oh man. So I went to urgent care.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the symptoms and I was like, nah, but it doesn't feel hot. Like, it doesn't itch. It doesn't hurt. It's just randomly there.
Look how we Google diagnose ourselves.
Right. And then I was like, so then the lady, like, she did examine me. She looked at it. And she was like, and she was asking me what I read on, like, WebMD. Like, she was like, is it painful? Does it itch? It doesn't feel hot. And I'm like, right. I'm like, I looked at this already, bro. And then I think she was like, she's like, it could be, a tick. She's like, did you see the little body of it? And I'm like, no, bro. Why would I, no. I said, I
would have came in and told you
right.
that. Like, why you gonna
I would have showed you the tick, bro, if I knew. And she was like, she's like, are you sure nothing, like, maybe in your pants? I said, no. I said, I literally woke up and it was there. And she's like, I'm gonna give you some antibiotics, if it doesn't go away. And, like, I think she gave me like a week or something. She's like, come back and we'll see, we can give you something for Lyme disease. I said, whatever, bro. I took the antibiotics literally 2 days after the freaking rash was gone. And then I was like, I'm assuming it's not Lyme disease then, because I don't. But I was like, I don't remember.
I be Googling my symptoms quick.
Right. No, I had one day I was like in training, and then I see like a dry little patch right here. So tiny though. It wasn't like half my arm. It was like a little circle. And I'm like, what the? So I started Googling it. I said, dry, small patch on my forearm. Tell me why I said it could be cancer. And I was like, oh, shit.
But I Googled my chest pain and my back pain, and pancreatitis did not come up.
Right. So, like, you know, so I was like, you know, but I'm like you. I'm like, if it gets worse, then I'll worry about it, right? Like, if it doesn't. That's why when I got this, I was like, just because it could be Lyme disease, let me go, right? That's the only time I've ever, like, let's just go.
Yeah.
But usually I wait, like, a good couple of days.
Yeah.
So I was like looking at this and I was like, man, should I just wait? So I put some lotion on, some Aquaphor, and like it went away, right? Because that's me. That's what I do. But I'd be like freaking out. I'd be like, man, I got cancer. I got fucking, you know, I was like, man,
not cancer.
Dude,
Jeez.
That is the worst thing.
No. But
I know I need to stop, but
I don't know what's going on with me, but like to been to urgent care and the ER and admitted to the hospital as much as I have in the past 4 months. It's concerning.
Right. So what I was going with was we need a general doctor so we can just call and be like, yo, this is what's been going on.
Yeah.
You know, versus.
Should I go? Like, even a doctor friend, like, hey, this going on, should I go to the ER or should I go to urgent care?
I don't know how I feel about Dr. Friend sometimes, because my cousin is like a doctor, right? Like he's, you know,
not the quotes,
because I don't know if he's done or not. You know, I don't know if he's done with his residency. Yeah. So, I've been like, sometimes I'm like, should I just call him and ask, right? But then sometimes I'm like, I don't want to tell him about like
certain stuff,
right? You know, that I'm not gonna be like, yo, a lump showed up on my fucking, you know, vagina, like, you know, like I feel like that'd be weird, you know, because when I was gonna get my colposcopy, because I've gotten a colposcopy before,
which is a whole nother thing. I just had one,
right, and that's like that's another, like they just texted me and they're like, hey, you're up for what do you call it, a pap smear, because it's been 3 years since I got the colposcopy, and I was gonna call him because I was freaking out, because I was like, bro, like, they gonna take a part of me, you know, like, they gonna take a little snippet.
They snip it out.
Right. So I was freaking out. I was literally on TikTok, like, what is a colposcopy? What is the procedure? Not even Google. Like, it was TikTok, you know?
Yeah.
And, I mean, luckily, luckily TikTok, the community of TikTok, the girls were like, it doesn't hurt that bad, like, you know.
The hell it does.
Well, at least, to me it didn't. But also, I think it helped that I went on TikTok, because a lot of girls were like, make sure you take Tylenol before you go.
Oh, yeah.
Which I did. I took Tylenol before I went, and I kind of just eased my anxiety, because even when I went in, the doctor was like, did you take Tylenol? If not, so I can give you Tylenol, and then you can wait, you know, in there for like 30 minutes.
My doctor didn't do that. He must not care.
He was like, did you take it? I said, yes, I took it before I entered the building. He said, okay, fine, because if not, we would have given you some, you would have waited. I said, no, I took some, and then we were in and out, like, we were done quick. So it wasn't painful to me in any way or form, which I was grateful for, and I didn't even bleed, you know, afterwards.
I've had 2. And the second one was way more painful.
Well, I'm scared of the second one. Like, I am scared of some, because I've heard that the second one is always a little bit more painful.
The second one was way more painful. And I bled a lot from the second one.
But I think it's because, I don't know if they snip from the same area or, like, what it is. You know, that I am scared of that. And a part of me is like, I do want to go to the same, I don't know, they're called gynecologists. No, they're not gynecologists, right? Or are they?
Yeah, I mean, mine is. Mine's a OB-GYN, yeah.
I don't know. Because I went for the pap smear, and then they referred me to somebody else to do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But,
because they don't know do it.
Yeah. Or I guess, like, maybe, like, the equipment, I don't know. Because I think he was great. Like, I think, you know, he did good. Like, did he push for birth control? And now I'm on birth control, yes. But aside from that, I think he did great and explained it to me. And you're going to feel pressure here. I'm grabbing the forceps, whatever they're called.
Oh, yeah. My doctor was like, do you want me to walk you through it? I said, no, just do it.
Oh, no, I needed, like,
Just do it. I don't want to hear you talk. Just do it.
So I want to go back to him because I feel like it was fine. But I am afraid of going back. But I was going to call my cousin and be like, hey, I'm getting this done. Like, what does this look like? Do you know? You're not a gynecologist, but I'm assuming you might know, you know? But I was like, I don't want to tell him, like, hey, you know, now, like, it came positive for HPV, right? So then I was like, I don't want to, you know, now you're going to think I have an STD, right? Like, I don't know, right? So.
Yeah.
That's been my thing.
I don't know. It's hard. It's hard out here.
Right.
I mean, I'm a little scared. I mean, partly because, like, I'm already, like, planning for some changes, like, this year, which we'll talk about in a different video, but I was already, like, planning for some, like, health changes. So, like, to have all these, like...
obstacles?
Yeah. I was going to say complications, but I don't even know if they're complications, but... to have all these things happen, like, in such a short period of time, it's kind of scary. But I'm also like, maybe it's just all happening now, so I can just be smooth sailing later. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. So,
but the thing with health, though, you can be, like, the healthiest person, and, like, things still can come up.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I'm just trying to think of, like, you know, what I could be doing differently to, like, prevent some of this stuff from happening, because it is not fun, you know. I had to miss work, you know. I had to miss work 2 days this week. So, which is not, you know, the most horrible thing, because, spoiler, I don't like my job very much.
Right.
But still, like, it's money. I need my money. So, I mean, I'm just a little worried. So, hopefully for now, I'm okay.
Maybe it's just a little hiccup.
Yeah.
Maybe some diet changes and it fixes everything.
Yeah. Let's hope. But yeah, that's pretty much what's been going on. At least with, like, the ER visits and you know, my, I guess, overall health.
Yeah.
I mean, there's other stuff that I'm going to talk about, but just not right now.
Yeah. And then when I go for my second colposcopy, we can all talk about that.
About what that was, because mine was horrible. It was horrible. But I have had really good doctors. I mean, outside of the horrible wait times at the ER, I will say that the doctors have been well, which is why I went back the second time, because I'm like, the doctors treating me well. They know, you know, they have my chart, like, they know me. And so that's why I went back. So, but yeah, it's hard out here.
It is.
And it's scary out here.
It is, especially being a woman and being a minority. Yeah. Going in there and hoping that they listen more than anything.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm just taking it as, like, God's just trying to tell me something right now. He's just trying to wake me up for something right now. So I'm just trying to listen and hope that he ain't trying to call me home.
Don't even say that, bro. Yeah. That'd be one of my biggest fear. Like, if I'm
he calling you home?
Yeah, like, I'd be thinking about stuff, and I think a lot of it's because a lot of young folks are getting, like, cancer, and a lot of younger folks, I diagnosed myself with sinusitis, whatever it's called, like sinus infection, right? Like chronic sinus infection, like you constantly get them, because that's running my family. And I don't know if this is true or not, because, you know, my aunt passed away. I never asked her.
Yeah.
But my mom thinks she died from a sinus infection. Oh. And technically, that's very rare, but it could happen, right? Or I've seen on TikTok that a girl had like, surgery or something in her brain because the sinus infection went up to her brain. So, like, her head was, like, it wasn't a circle. Like, it was, like, sunken in.
Oh, jeez.
Because of that. And... have I gone to go get actually diagnosed or go and actually, like, hey, what can I do to help? No, because I'm fearful of, like...
what they gonna tell you?
Right. Like, am I gonna end up, you know, with a missing piece of my brain? Like, you know?
I mean, I just feel like things like that I can't control.
No,
I'm gonna try and do my part, you know? Like, I feel like God is trying to tell me something. So I'm gonna try and do my part. But anything outside of that, I can't.
No, we can't control. But my fear is I'm not gonna be able to control when he's gonna tell me, okay, it's your time to go.
Yeah. I mean, I think the fear is that we are never ready.
No. No, I mean, I don't know. I mean, some people have been ready, but some people,
I feel like there's still stuff for me to do here, but if it's my time, it's my time. But I think these are just warning signs. These are just wake up calls, maybe. I'm hoping.
Right. And I don't even think that, and I think this can be a whole episode, because I'm like, I don't think it's more or less that, like, I'm fearful of, like, how the people around me are going to react if I were to go.
Yeah.
I think that's where it is.
Yeah.
Because if I'm gone, peace, right? But, the people around me.
I think about that sometimes. I have really intrusive thoughts, and I just think about, like, what if I died? Like, what happened? And
who's going to my funeral?
Yeah, I kind of play it out a little bit.
Oh, me too.
Like, how people are going to react, like, what they're going to be doing and stuff like that.
My fear is, like, my mom's going to die. Because it's going to hit so hard that she's going to be like,
yeah, people do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that's my fear, right? And I think that's where my fear comes in versus, like, me going. Like, I'm like, oh, God, cool. How you been, right? But
God, cool. How you been?
But mine is, like, how people react. But I've thought about, like, who's actually going to go to my funeral? Who's actually going to cry? Like, just some weird thoughts that I'd be, like, having.
Yeah. Like, I think I'm like, who would surprise me? Like, who would show up that I would have never guessed would show up? And
then I'm like, how would, like, my friends, right? Like, how would they tell my friends about my funeral?
Dude, that's what I be thinking. That's why I be trying to, like, think about, like, if something happened to me, like, how would the people I care about find out?
Right. I've thought about that. And you know where else my intrusive thought has gone? Like, sometimes I'll be driving, and then I'd be like, what if something happens to me right now? And, like, that's why I have the emergency thing on my phone to go to my mom, my dad, and my sister.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have it on my phone, too. Because I just turned it on.
Yeah. What if, like, something happens? Like, how they going to let them know?
How they going to get a hold of them? Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's why, like, I told Derek, I'm like, you gotta make sure you pay attention to everything, because you going to be the first person to find out you are here.
Right. I told my sister the same thing.
Find out. So, like, you got to be able to tell all these people. I was surprised, though, because I was in the hospital, and on Monday night, I had to... Monday night? Yeah, Monday night. No, Sunday night. Sunday night. My phone wasn't charged. I'd been at the damn ER all night. My phone wasn't charged, so I had the nurse take it to go charge it. And then I had to go get the MRI or whatever, so they had it for a while. And he was calling me, he couldn't get through. So he called my grandma.
Aww.
I was like, oh,
that's cute.
You showed me you cared.
Right, that's
cute. It did make me feel good. I was like, oh, you showed me you cared. Yeah, so he handled it better this time than the first time.
See? So. Making little small improvements.
Yeah, I was like, wow. For him, that was a big thing. It might seem like a small thing, but for him, that was a huge thing.
Call somebody.
For him to call my grandma and say, like, he could not reach me, like, that was a big thing. Yeah. So.
That's cute. Ended on a positive note.
Yeah. Yeah. So that made me feel really good, and that was a bright spot of what happened, So yeah, he was much better this time. So kudos to you if you listen to this.
Little odd moment.
All right. Well, that's it for this episode. Make sure y'all subscribe and share this with somebody.
Follow our Instagram, our TikTok.
Share any thoughts that you have. If there's any, health issues you've been struggling with, or any similar situations like being in the MRI.
Oh my God.
And how scary that is.
Yes.
Yeah, just leave us some comments or something. Follow our social medias at MBS Pod.
We're trying to be more active, y'all.
Yes.
We're trying.
We're trying to be more active on social media. So, yeah, go help us and support us.
Yes.
So, yeah, see y'all in the next one.